Okay, little word lesson for you. Irony. When it comes to humour, there's simply none better than Michael Rowland.
Thank you.
Sarcasm. I think Michael is just so funny.
Thank you, I think.
Got the difference?
Yes, I picked it up. Irony and sarcasm are easy to convey face-to-face with raised eyebrows, rolled eyes and air quotes. But in this digital age, how do we show that online? Our word guru, David Astle, joins us here to explain. David, good morning.
Good morning.
You do mean that, don't you? Good morning. And when you say word expert, it's not word
expert. Yes.
Our word expert. Why do we need to talk about irony and sarcasm? Australians are never, ever bereft of those.
No, we're not. And in fact, with the election on at the moment and the electoral sort of campaign happening in the US, it is the season of sarcasm. Plenty of tra-la-la-la-la. This is it. This is the kind of winter Christmas we were meant to have. And it's all about people coming in with their own comments, but how do you differentiate a comment coming from a sort of fundamental group with a comment that is loaded up with fundamental sarcasm?
Oh, go on. Explain that a little further.
Well, if I was to say that... Let's take it away from politics.
Yep.
Let's look at business. With Microsoft purchasing LinkedIn, that might seem the a kind of billion-dollar purchase of a lame duck. But if I was to believe the opposite and said, wow, fantastic purchase by Microsoft of LinkedIn, how do you know that I'm not basically over-egging the pudding and being contemptuous of that decision?
Yeah, especially when you sound so realistic, David, when you say that. So genuine.
So, I mean, it's easy in spoken speech because we lean on words, we do all the gestures, the micro gestures, but how do we convey that mocking tone when it comes to text? And this is the quandary that has faced humankind, would you believe, for centuries.
Okay, we've got some examples I think we can bring up on screen now. Some of your suggestions as to how all of us using smartphones and tablets can use emoticons to our sarcastic advantage.
Can get irony together.
Yeah, it's really interesting to trace it back and look at all the different... here we go. This is the Sark mark, which came out of Michigan, I think it was.
Yeah.
Paul and Doug Sachs. They created this. It's a trademark because there is so much sarcasm and irony going on with social media. So we needed a symbol, a signal. This one actually hasn't taken off, but it does symptomise just how much this deep need has been gnawing at us.
Yeah, but the fact that it hasn't taken off indicates that maybe there isn't that deep need.
No, but this is the wonderful thing about social media. The social media has been solving its own problem for the last 15 years by these spontaneous solutions, using the likes of punctuation markers, lowercase, variations in spelling. I think we've got an example of a variant in spelling.
Yes, bring it up.
Okay, now this is another. This is a Dutch one that came up in 2010 by a fascinating studio called the Underweer.
Yeah.
This is the Ironoteken, and it almost had traction in Europe. Unfortunately, it looked too... Well, it did. Was taken up. There wasn't a trademark attached. It was there to be used.
Yes.
The trouble with that one was that it seemed was too redolent of sort of Nazi Germany.
As someone who really loves language, and we so appreciate that about you, and there's no irony
Yes,
there
I
at
know.
all.
I got that.
Now I'm worried. I'm just reminded of what my English teacher told me in high school when I submitted an essay and there was a line that I wanted to emphasise and I'd underlined the words and she said, no, cross them all out and said, you need to be able to write in a way which indicates that that phrase or that part of the sentence is emphasised. And you can't go using screamers for that either, meaning exclamation marks and the like. And you can't just suddenly write in capitals, because that's a really important point. Your writing has to reflect it. Isn't this just the challenge online? Your writing needs to show that you're being ironic or sarcastic.
Your teacher was wise. However, that comment that you made was in the context of an essay. So your point would be very clear, would be limpid. However, if I'm to make a very quick comment
140 characters
in isolation, how do you know that comment is not an earnest comment or a barbed quip?
Right.
So it's because social media is so fragmentary, that's what has created this dilemma or has made the dilemma more acute.
I'd like to see us rise to the challenge and where we can actually do that in 140 characters.
Well, I think we are.
It's a big challenge. Now, you got some spelling examples as well?
I do, and this is it. We have turned to things like variations in spelling, and I think there's one coming up about, is it feminism that we've got ready to roll?
Or a certain popular election.
Bring something up and let's see what
Here
we've
we
got.
go.
Yeah.
Now, this is right away, there's two things that say this is sarcasm. It's coming out of a sarcastic Twitter feed, woman against feminism, no to feminism. Now, that has been recognised as being a kind of tongue-in-cheek Twitter feed.
Yeah.
But almost every tweet that they do, they give you a variation on the spelling of feminism or feminist.
Yeah. And also the awkward English that they use. What if they start a war over a bad reason?
Yeah.
And that's a key indicator that something's going on here.
There's code switching as well, where you, the pronoun becomes you, the verb. There is variations in caps. There is the deadpan version where you actually have no punctuation. Then you over-egg it with lots of negatives.
The next example refers to a popular election slogan.
Yes, it does. I think it's a beauty, actually, because there you go. Is there an emoji for jobs and growth? Again, coming out of a very cheeky Twitter feed in GovGoogles, but also without punctuation and a lowercase I. So straight away, that's saying not only is it a ridiculous proposition, but you know there's that underlining again with those subtle markers.
Or you can just add the word not at the end of everything.
Or the kekeke or the winky emoji.
Oh, the winky emoji's okay?
Yeah, they are. I mean, that's the old school one.
Yeah.
Hashtag sarcasm is very much the underlining of text.
Yeah, that's
we
too
don't do
obvious,
that.
Exactly. Your English teacher's going to cross that one out. Yeah.
So the question is, why do we have so much irony and sarcasm in social media? And it has several functions. One is that it underlines the in-groupness, the identity. The other is that it's about you being part of a tribe. And of course, it gives us so much more scope for humour.
Fantastic. Gee, David, that was great. You're truly fantastic. I love your work. You are Australia's word expert.
And David, it's really been great having you on the show.
I love
and of course,
coming
the
on
camera
this
wasn't
show.
on me for that, was it?
My favourite part of the work.
Great. Thank you.
My pleasure.